Hello folks, this is ICT and welcome to the mentorship. This is the first installment to all of the teaching tutorials you're going to have for this month. Generally you're going to have 8 teaching tutorials that will be delivered every week, 2 at a time, on Saturday. So every Saturday will be delivery day for each week's teaching tutorial, every week being 2 teaching modules. September is the launch month for this mentorship program. And this is the only one you're going to have that has 9 videos. So this is actually aimed at getting the newbie up to speed real quick, so that way they can watch the market and monitor the things that we're doing via the Twitter feed and the forum. While it's not going to try to teach everything in the tutorial section, it will get them up to speed quickly and allow them to see the same thing in terms of time and price, which is important because if we're not looking at the same thing, it can be rather confusing. So we're going to look at what demo account everyone should be utilizing. If you're using a different demo account than what I'm setting up here and teaching through as the medium in our mentorship group, over the next 12 months we will be utilizing demo account only. It's for my protection because I'm not licensed to give trade advice, and this is not trade advice. This is actually studying price action in a group setting, using concepts that I've employed over the last 2 decades. So if you are using a different demo account, you need to stop using that one and use what we're going to be setting up today. It'll give you all the functions and resources that you see used in my videos and in my teaching tutorials. More specifically, it'll give you the same reference in terms of price action. So when I'm referring to something in a chart, it'll avoid all of the confusion. Well, my chart looks like this, or I'm having a problem with this candle and that candle's not lining up. I'm going to remove all of those barriers and speed bumps to everyone's development and a distraction from the overall group. You're learning how to trade price, so we're all going to have to use the same medium while we're learning. Okay, so the entire 12 months going forward, because this is a teaching capacity aimed at delivering the content through a demo account only, not live account, not live MyFX books and all that stuff. It's aimed at delivering understanding of price action. And if we don't have the same reference point, okay, it's going to be confusing, and it's going to create a multitude of questions that'll never end because everyone's data provider is going to be slightly different than what I'm providing. So again, what you'll do is this is how you set up your demo account. This is how you find one I use. You're going to go into Google and you're going to type in Forex Ltd and you're going to hit enter. Okay, and it's going to take you to this site right here, Forex Ltd, Internet Trading in the World, Currency Market. This forexltd.co.uk. Okay, I do not trade with this firm. I do not have an account with this firm. I'm not inviting you to be a customer of them. I just think that they have the absolute best demo account to work within, and that's the one I've been using for years. Okay, for the last 6.5 years I've been teaching through the capacity of this specific one, and I'll give you all the reasons why as we go through this video. Click on the link, okay, and it's going to give you the welcome page here. Okay, and what you're going to be doing is you're going to be looking for a demo account. You're going to click on that, and it's going to give you a link here. Download MetaTrader 4, not MetaTrader 5, not MetaTrader 27. Okay, MetaTrader 4. Okay, and when you click on that, it'll give you your download window in here. Okay, and then what you do is you click on this, and you click open. Now, I'm not going to do that because I actually have it already installed in my computer, but we're going to go over to the desktop. Once you run it, it'll install automatically, and once you install it, you're going to launch the program. Okay, and what you're going to do is you're going to want to set up a demo account inside the platform, because so far you just have the software program. You're going to go up to File. Okay, you're going to go to Open an Account. You need to look for Forex Server Forex Ltd. Okay, that's what you want to look for. Scroll through all this business if you can't find it. If you don't see that, you need to click on here, Add New Broker. Okay, and when you click on that, Adding New Broker, you're going to type in these things here: Forex-Server, Forex Ltd. Okay, and then you're going to do a Next. You want to click on New Demo Account, and then you're going to put in your name. We're Demo Baller Incorporated. Put your email address in here. I don't really give them an email address, and I never give them my real name, and I generally rotate out of this demo account every 2-3 weeks. I rotate out. So if you ever watch my videos, you'll always see there's a different account number up here. I just don't want to have anybody tracking me based on that. So, and they probably could still do that nonetheless, but either way, that's why I do it. You're going to be clicking nothing on here. It's going to come up as a default Forex, $5,000. You're going to set it to 50 to 1. Okay, and any phone number in there, I usually use the local Pizza Hut or Domino's. Just an inside gag. But it can be whatever you want it to be. Okay, and then you got to click on I agree to subscribe to newsletters. I don't mind at all because it's never going to go to my email address, not one that I have actually. And you're going to wait for it to process. Now here's what you can use for MyFX Book. Now you want to keep this information, because as we get a little bit further into the mentorship, I will be asking you all to set up a MyFX Book. Okay, I don't want to hear any crybaby and I don't want to do it ICT. Trust me, it's going to be very educational, and it's not to compare who's better than what. I'm going to show you statistics and analytics using MyFX Book to help us frame high probability setups. Okay, so, and also I'm going to be looking at your overall development at the end of your 12 months. So I'm going to be hopefully seeing the fruits of my labor here. But you need all this information here. So write all these things down: your login number, your password number, and your investor number here. Okay, you need all those things. And when it comes time for us to go into the MyFX Book and to set up a MyFX Book for analytics and teaching high probability setups, we'll need all this information to sync up. Okay, so, but we'll talk about that later on down. It's a couple months away. So we're going to click on Finish, and you want to open up a chart. Okay, and we're going to say US dollar index. Now the reason why I like this Forex Ltd demo account is it comes stocked with the US dollar index. Now I have done this download so many times just to see if it comes up a different way where the US dollar index is not available to you as an immediate resource. If by chance you do what I'm doing here in this tutorial and you don't see the dollar index, USDX, okay, that's what that stands for. If it doesn't appear in your platform, it's very easy to find. Okay, you're just going to go up to this little icon here. It has a little down arrow and an up arrow. When you move your cursor over top of it, it's going to say Market Watch. You tap on that. Anywhere on here, anywhere on this list of symbols, you're going to take your mouse and right button click. Okay, and you're going to click on Show All. When you do that and you close out the Market Watch table here, when you go back up to click on File and click on New Chart, the US dollar index will appear. I've never seen it not be there when I first downloaded, and I've never heard anyone tell me that it's not like we're seeing here. But in the event that it doesn't, trust me, Forex Ltd offers US dollar index. That's the dollar index I use for all my analysis. So you want to click on that and go to a daily chart, Okay, and you'll get the same exact daily chart that ICT uses in all of my videos. So once we have this, okay, we can go into a few things. I'm actually making available a ICT kill zone indicator with this video, so that way you're going to be able to reference specific times of the day, because this video module is introducing you to the concept of, number one, setting up so that way we're all looking at the same thing at the same time of day, and relative to New York time, which we're going to calibrate in a few moments. But I want you to understand that you're going to get indicators that go along with the teachings. So every month you'll get something new that helps you streamline your analysis and cut time. Initially, I'm going to make you work a little bit, because it's important that you understand what you're looking at. Do not grow accustomed to just using indicators. Now, indicators are not calculating anything. Okay, all my indicators do is highlight time and price. So it's not giving you any buy or sell. It's just referencing time and price. Okay, and we'll talk more about that topic throughout the next 12 months. But for now, I want you to calibrate to New York time. Now, if you download this platform for demo account trading, it's going to be the same exact platform time as mine. Now, where you are at around the globe, I have no idea. Okay, I don't know exactly where you're actually located at, and your time zone is going to be different than what this platform is. It does not matter. What you're concerned about is you want to calibrate your local time with the platform time and relative to New York time. So what you need to do is know always what time it is in New York. So if we see that we're looking at this right now, we go to an hourly chart, tap the END button. It'll take you to the farthest right portion of the chart. Okay, and if we look at this candle right here and just put the mouse cursor over top of it, it's saying that's the 2200 hour candle. Okay, 2200 hour candle. Relative to New York time, that's 6 p.m. right now. So 2200 on MT4 platform through Forex LTD, 2200 is 6 o'clock. Let me zoom in a little bit more. So this candle on an hourly basis is 6 p.m. my time. Okay, for the platform, it's 2200 hours. 2100 hours is 5 o'clock my time in New York time. 4 o'clock New York, 3, 2, 1, noon, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, midnight. Okay, midnight. And it's the 4 GMT time on this platform. So when it's the 40400 on the MT4 platform downloaded through Forex LTD, this candle is always, until it's changing for daylight savings time to back to standard time, this candle will move to 5 GMT. But right now it's 4. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to look at that candle and put a vertical line right on it. So that's midnight in New York. Now, I don't know where you are in time relative to New York time. You need to determine what that time is where you're at, so that way you're always on New York time. And an easy way to do that is to go over to Google. Okay, you're going to go into Google and type in current time in New York. Okay, right now it's saying 6:29 p.m. As you can see down here, 6:29 p.m. So you need to figure out what your time is locally, wherever you're at in the world, and contrast that with what New York time is. Okay, because it's important we always know what time midnight, 12 a.m. in New York is, because that's the new trading day. Despite whatever you might have heard about Wellington being the new day, it's not. Okay, it's always going to be relative to 12 a.m. in New York. That's where the banking algos operate on when we go into setting up true day format, which is what we're going to talk about in a minute. Let's go back to the chart. Okay, and now we understand that 40400 on Forex Ltd right now under daylight savings time, that's midnight in New York. Okay, so that's midnight in New York. Now, if we want to know what the kill zones are, okay, 2 o'clock in the morning. Okay, so if this is an hourly candle at midnight, there's 1 o'clock in the morning in New York, 2 o'clock in the morning in New York. And if you highlight an object on MT4, hold down Control, double tap and drag away, you'll duplicate it. So you have midnight here, 1 o'clock in the morning in New York, 2 o'clock in the morning in New York, 3 o'clock in the morning in New York, 4 o'clock in the morning in New York, 5 o'clock in the morning in New York. That's 5 o'clock in the morning is 0900 in Forex Ltd. So what we just did is we delineated New York midnight candle, and we also referenced what time is the ICT London open kill zone. Now it technically can start as early as 1 o'clock in the morning here, okay, but for now I just want you to focus on 2 o'clock in the morning right now, because that's going to be the best signals, and that's the reason why we're doing a mentorship, because I want you to focus primarily on the strongest setups. So if it's happening before 2 o'clock in the morning, you're going to let it go. So 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, up to 5 o'clock. So 5 o'clock closes the window of the ICT kill zone. Now once we have that frame of reference, okay, we can change, rather, we're going to make this a solid line, and it could be whatever colors you want to set it up to delineate what it is referring to, but this is going to refer to as midnight in New York. Okay, so going forward in the mentorship, I'm going to stick with the color scheme we're having here. This blue line is delineating 0400 in Forex Ltd's demo account, and that means we're showing and highlighting New York at midnight, 12 a.m. Okay, that's the new day. This is the ICT kill zone. Okay, so it's midnight, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning. So between these two vertical lines in here, that delineates the ICT kill zone. So if we drop down to a 15-minute time frame, this entire area down here, okay, is the London kill zone. So you just highlight that with a little rectangle, okay, and there you go. You have it. So you don't have to take these and keep them on your chart to clear it out. You just remove that. Now, once you have this, this is going to give you a frame of reference for trading the the London session. Now you have to identify what the New York session is. Go back out to the hourly chart. Okay, so we have midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 o'clock on an hourly chart is 1100 on Forex Ltd's MetaTrader 4 while daylight savings time is underway. So 1100 begins the New York session kill zone. So that's 7 o'clock in the morning, New York time. So you want to be looking at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. There's your kill zone for New York session. So we're going to go back down to a 15-minute time frame. Duplicate that. And if you watch down here, it'll give you the time. And I'm going to, now that it's highlighted, I'm going to drag this edge of this box until it goes to 1100. Right there. See it? Right here, 1100, right down here when I touch it. And then I'm going to drag it. So there's 8 o'clock at 1200, 9 o'clock is 1300, 10 o'clock is 1400. Okay, and I'm just going to drop it right there. Okay, so there you have your two kill zones. You have so you have both kill zones, London kill zone and the New York kill zone. Okay, and you're going to do this for each chart every single day for the first month. I will give you a kill zone indicator in October, so that way you just click it and it'll pop it up on your charts. But for homework and for practicing and logging your charts and observing price action for each currency pair that you're trading or following, and you really should be only watching one right now, so pick one. We're going to focus primarily on the cable, and sometimes we'll talk about the euro dollar. So depending upon those two, you're going to do your own homework on one of those pairs and stick to primarily only doing that for the first month. Once you have this framed like this, okay, we can go back out to an hourly chart. Okay, don't worry about this being off, because when we go back down into a 15-minute time frame, it'll get neat and orderly all over again. So we have midnight here. So this starts the day. So we have 1 o'clock in the morning, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3. Why 3? 3 o'clock on and Forex LTD is 1900. That's when the bond market closes in the U.S. market. The 30-year Treasury market closes at 3 o'clock, and it encapsulates the day when there's FOMC announcements at 2 p.m. in New York. So because that can occur at 2 p.m., we have to incorporate the entire 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock time window. So we have to look at that candle here as ending the day at 1900. So we will take another vertical line and we'll drop it right on 1900. Again, the time is relative to the Forex LTD platform. Okay, and then we'll change this to a red, solid red. Okay, so that way we know that we have now created true day interbank format for determining what the true daily range is. Okay, so the true daily range is at midnight, it trades down, makes the low in London open during the London open kill zone. Then it makes the low and it rallies up. Okay, then it gives you a buy signal in continuation with the low that was formed in London, and it runs higher. Okay, and it trades into the profit taking hour, which is between 10 o'clock and 11 o'clock generally, but it can go as late as noon, and we'll talk about that later on in this mentorship. But for now, I want you to focus primarily on these two specific windows of time in the day. It will make a high between 10 o'clock and noon every single day that it's going to be a bullish day. If it doesn't reverse in New York, all between these time windows, in other words, when this begins here and ends here, between those time windows, or in other words, this is why I like doing this, because you can do this. You just drag it straight up, and you can highlight the exact kill zone time when the signal or setup forms. Okay, and once you understand what you're looking for, what is it specifically are you looking for? Well, we're looking at a 15-minute time frame. So if we're looking at 15-minute time frames like this, is there any one time frame that's better than another? No. The reason why is because you have to understand what you're going to be studying is price itself. You're not just studying a 15-minute time frame. You're not just studying an hourly chart. You're not just studying a daily chart or a weekly chart. You're studying price, and you'll be following institutional order flow, and it's going to leave fingerprints that may not be very clear on one time frame, but be very crystal clear on another. So if you have these understandings, and understanding of institutional order flow, which you'll learn more about as you go through this entire mentorship. We have 3 candles here that are down right before the up move. So the order block begins on this candle right here. The down candles is where the algos are accumulating buy orders, and they're running a short-term low here during London. You get a stop run traditionally in London session. The market creates a rally. These 3 down candles is where you're going to see the beginning of the order block. So you can use the body of the candle up to the high. So you can see the order block begins here at the open, or where the body of the candle starts, and all this range here is the actual order block. But the open on this candle comes in at 95.64. That level is important because if we do get a low form in London and it rallies up through a short-term high like this, that will give us framework to look for a New York session buy. It'll come back down into a bullish order block, which it trades. Again, let's look at the body's open on here. It's 95.64. During the New York session kill zone, okay, the low comes in at 95.64, and this candle as well is 95.64. So when it trades down there, that's time and price meeting inside a kill zone, and that's a New York session buy. Or reversing that, it gives us a sell scenario for foreign currencies if there's technicals that line up in symmetrical terms. But because this is a bank holiday in the Canadian market and the US market, we were just observing today. Okay, but even in these concessions, you can still see that the market still creates the same patterns all the time, because the algo doesn't go off duty because it's a holiday. It's still going to generate volatility. It's just going to be very small volatility. Okay, so now we can go and shrink this back down. I've already outlined what the kill zone does for us. It highlights a specific time window, but that's not the importance by itself. The importance is blending the two things to give us indications with prognostication behind the element of time and price. Okay, so we see a stop run in London, creates the higher low of the day, a continuation in New York session, and it runs to 10 o'clock to noon on the day and creates the opposite end of the daily range. If we created a low in London, we expect the high of the form between 10 o'clock in the morning and noon. The algo does this every single day. It's just either a buy day, a consolidation day, or a sell day. That's all you get. That's the 3 things you have to worry about with understanding the interbank algo. Okay. There are folks that you're going to listen to, because I've recently went to a paid membership. They're going to say that there is no such thing as a interbank algo, and some may facetiously make snide remarks about how it doesn't exist or it's contrived. But I can tell you, just sit back and watch this, see the level of precision that comes by way of what I'm teaching you, and it comes with the understanding of what the interbank algo actually is. It's the delivery of price, and it's completely systematic and it's uniform. Every single day it does the same type of thing. There's small little deviations here and there, but nonetheless it's the same thing happening all the time. Okay, so we've covered how to calibrate New York time, because it's essential. We need to know what's going on in New York, because that sets the day, because that's when the algo comes online at midnight in New York. The London session between 2 o'clock in the morning and 5 a.m. It closes at 5 a.m. That window of time usually sets the higher low of the day. If you're bullish on the market, it's going to set the low of the day. If it's bearish on the market, it's going to set the high of the day. Okay, so London makes the higher low of the day relative to the trend direction. Now we're going to teach trend direction, we're going to teach daily bias in a greater degree than you've ever seen me ever do in this mentorship. It just can't happen in one video, and it can't happen the first month. It's a long drawn out process, a lot of elements that's going to come together, and you'll get all kinds of framework. And I know some of you are absolutely ecstatic, okay, that you're learning what you're learning and you can't wait to get to the next thing. You are being too impatient, and you have to wait to get to the next stage of our teachings. Don't try to expect it all to come in one time. It's going to take a little bit of time. It's a 12-month process, so you're going to get through this one step at a time. You're going to learn every single time we do a video, every single time we do a live session, every day so far since we started the mentorship. You've seen value. It's at least that's my hope. We've been able to call the market direction in intraday, and it's using these elements that I'm teaching here. This is just the surface foundation that you have to have going into this. Okay, so that way when I'm talking about London kill zone, I just showed you how to map it out on Forex LTD. If I'm talking about New York kill zone, this is exactly what I'm talking about and how to map it out. Okay, watch the video, take notes, take notes, take notes. Okay, when we see the market trade into the 3 o'clock window, okay, or hour, that's usually the close of the day. Now the average volume for the entire day is, I'm sorry, I shouldn't say average. The majority of the volume, I should say, is between the London and overlap into New York. That's the largest volume. New York is the easiest trading setup. It's easy to trade those setups in New York because you got the benefit of knowing what London did. I used to do trades like this here, trading the reversal at London close. It's just not enough for me to be worried about anymore. But I want you to look at what we see here. The open is here at midnight. It trades down, makes the low of the day, rallies up, breaks a short-term high. That gives us credibility to expect an advancement up on the upside. I gave you indications today in Twitter for September 5th that the euro was going to go lower into a specific level, and I'll leave that for you to study with all the information that I've shared on the forum and on Twitter. But when we break this short-term high, we know that we can come back to a bullish order block, and you just got to find out what that order block is. And it has to happen inside of a London open kill zone, and you'll get a high-quality order block that way. And in New York, when it comes back down, it hits that level. In range expansion, it happens again, all the way up into 10 o'clock to noon, New York time. Everything I say in time is specifically related to New York time. Don't get confused about your local time. Don't get confused about some other platform that you're trading through or your own broker's platform time. It's going to mess you up. You just need to take the information we're looking at on this medium, Forex LTD's demo account, and then see what that looks like on your own charts at the same time. But the trade ideas and the framework for the trades are always going to be referencing what we see here on Forex LTD's demo account. Okay? Anyway, between 10 o'clock in the morning and noon, New York time, it will create the high of the day, generally, if there's not been a consolidation day or a reversal profile in New York, which we'll talk about that and we'll teach that in great detail. So please, if you hear me say things, don't go in asking the have the complete expose on the topic. I'll touch on it a little bit if there's time, but I will promise you continuously that you're going to learn everything I know over the 12 months that we're here. I got detailed notes. There's so many things you can't learn in just 1 or 2 sessions. It won't satisfy. So if I try to spend time answering your questions about specific concepts right now, and especially if you're new, you're not going to be satisfied in the answer because there's other things that have to go along with that to make sense. And believe me, it doesn't feel like I'm doing you a service right now. It feels like I'm doing you a disservice by saying that. But in fact, I'm doing you the greatest service in the world because I'm showing you in small pieces that you can digest. It doesn't matter what you think you're going to be able to learn in terms of speed. This does not happen overnight. And I'm giving you a framework to gradually grow into this, and you will be amazing in your price action skills and your prognostication at the end of 12 months. Trust me in that. Trust me, okay? Submit to the time, and you'll get exactly what you're paying for and more. But the market will come off the high that's created between 10 o'clock and 12 o'clock in the afternoon. When it does that, it'll retrace a little bit and then go into the close. So you can see the daily range as it opens here, trades down, makes the low of the day, expands on the upside, makes the high of the day, and closes off the low and trades back here. So it's a consolidation day. We've closed at 3 o'clock, essentially right where we opened at midnight in New York. So midnight New York time to 3 p.m. New York time, this has been a consolidation day. It opened and closed at the same place. And I'm going to give you a horizontal line right here. It opened here and closed essentially right at the same spot. Here's the actual close here, but it's just a little bit away from that. So we didn't really go anywhere, but it still operated with the same parameters I teach in my tutorials because it's on the interbank algo. The market is delivering price based on systematic, time-based routines that this thing does all the time. And once you understand how it operates, it's like cracking the code on a safe. You're in there, and they can't stop you. Okay, so we're going to teach a lot about specifics and concepts that are in great detail. You're going to have 8 more teachings this month, okay, and I want you to know what they are right now. This one was just setting up, and that way you can observe price when I'm talking about things in Twitter. If I'm talking about specific times of the day in my forum installments, you know what I'm talking about when I say London setup, or London kill zone or New York kill zone. You know where to look at it on your chart. And it's also teaching you to log your charts at the end of the day. So that way, when we look at charts, we should have them doctored up like this. Okay, where's the beginning of the day? Where's the end of the day? I just showed you. 12 a.m. New York, 3 p.m. New York. That's how it ends. That's called true day. It's TRUEDAY. True day. It's 2 words. Okay, and this is the format for a true interbank market day. Don't think about Wellington. Don't incorporate Asia. Forget all that. Okay, the majority of the money that you need to worry about is between these 2 windows of time. And trust me when I tell you, we're going to amplify on that over the next 12 months, and it's going to knock your socks off. But the elements that we're going to be teaching specifically in the remainder of September, again, you got 2 more videos this week, and then you'll have 6 more after that before the end of the month. Okay, so the next video we're talking about is elements to a trade setup and how market makers condition market pricing. Okay, so we're going to talk about those 2 things in separate videos, and that's going to be delivered to you this coming Saturday. And the next 2 are what you should be focusing on right now, and the second one of next week will be equilibrium versus discount, and then the next 2 are going to be equilibrium versus premium and fair valuation, and the next 2 are going to be liquidity runs, high resistance and low resistance, and impulse swings and market protraction. Okay, sounds high and lofty, but we're going to get into some really technical things in a conceptual way, so that way we'll be able to flesh out those ideas with specifics and price action that repeat over and over and over again. So you have 8 more really influential ideas that's going to be taught to you the month of September, and then we're going to go into October with a greater understanding about money management and compounding small accounts. So it's going to give you a theme of that month, but we're also going to be incorporating specific time elements with price to help you build these ideas. But the theme of next month is going to be working with money management and small account growth. So building up small accounts. But we're going to have a lot of technical things taught. We're going to be amplifying order blocks and liquidity voids and fair valuation, equilibrium, all those things. Every single month I'm going to give you elements to each one of those components and give you scenarios. And I'm going to give you 2 retail traps that happen every single market day. It happens every single day. Once you understand what they are, there's 24 of them. There's 2 I'm teaching each month. So there's 24 retail trader traps that market makers use. Okay, you're going to get 2 of them every single month. They will be laced inside the teachings. Okay, and when it's being focused on, you'll know in the recording, it'll be highlighted in the screen that this is a retail trap, and I'll explain in great detail what they are. But for now, we're going to close this video here. And again, I want to thank you all for being a part of this mentorship. You have taken a great deal of trust and placed it in my hands. Okay, and I do not want to give you the idea that I don't appreciate that or respect that, because I know you're paying money now for what I'm teaching. You're paying money now for what I'm teaching, and I want you to get value from what I'm teaching. But I also want to remind you that you're not going to get this in the first 2, 3, 4 months. It's designed to be spread out over time. So if you submit the time, I promise you, your understanding as a technical trader, a price action trader, you'll know all of the elements about accumulation, distribution, manipulation, and you'll know how to market profile. Up days, down days, and consolidations. You'll know everything that you need to know to go in and make your independent decisions on your own. At the end of 12 months, you will never have to watch another ICT video again. That's the goal. I know I'm going to be able to deliver it, but the onus is on you to stay with the entire program. Trust me, you're going to get there. It's just going to be 1 week at a time, and you're going to learn things that you can't learn anywhere else. So with that, guys, I'm going to wish you good luck and good trading.